In this video, we are going to talk about the comma splice. It is a very common error in writing, and because we're talking here about different types of sentences, compound, complex, and also we're talking about sentence fragments, it's very important to understand what a comma splice is. First off, it's the use of a comma to break up two sentences or two independent clauses. And if that is the case, if you do see a comma splice, then instead of using a comma, you want to use a semicolon, a full stop or a period, or a comma with one of the conjunctions. So if you go back to the coordinating conjunctions in the compound sentence, that's a perfect example. So you don't want to put comma and forget the and then think you can stick another independent clause on there. If you do that, that is a comma splice. So let's take a look. Mike studied diligently each night, comma, he was able to get straight A's. What should we have here in this sentence? We should have one of the fanboys, comma, so. But we do not have this coordinating conjunction. It's absent. Instead, we just have a comma. And therefore, this comma is incorrect. And that error is called a comma splice. And therefore, to change it, we have to either add a conjunction, such as so in this case, makes sense, or add a semicolon. Or another option is even to put a full stop or a period. If you do a period, then make sure that the sentence is not too choppy, because when we write, we want to make sure our sentences flow. So compare Mike studied diligently each night. He was able to get straight A's. I read that as though there was a full stop or a period. But the sentences flow a lot better if you use compound sentences. So with so, it would be Mike studied diligently each night, so he was able to get straight A's. Let's go on to B. Though he practiced the piano 2 hours each day, he still could not master the sonata. It was so difficult. If I gave this sentence to, I'd say 70% of high school students, and maybe I'm being a little bit cynical, so let's say 70% of middle school students, they would think that this sentence is absolutely fine. And it's not that the state of our education is necessarily poor. The problem is when people see sentences, they do not rely on grammatical rules, they rely on their ears. So if I read this sentence B, it sounds absolutely fine, but it is not. There is a comma splice. See if you can spot it. Okay, now let's have a look together. Though we practice subordinating conjunction, dependent clause, 2 hours each day, comma, he still could not master the sonata. We have a nice complex sentence because we have this independent clause after day, all the way to sonata. And then what happens? We should have comma and a conjunction, but we don't. We just have comma it. And here is our comma splice. And just like that, we've identified it. So watch out for this in your own writing, because it's something that can really weigh down or prevent you from writing effectively.